those things you dream of in your mind, they bring it to life.
Hi everyone, my name is Amir and I manage agency development for Snap in the region. My team and I work with our agency partners to grow our business together through innovative and strategic partnerships. Today, I'm here to talk to you about the evolution of the camera. From a relatively simple memory-taken object to the very powerful visual computing platform it's become today. And why you as marketeers can't ignore it any longer, and why we believe it's at the forefront of commerce and marketing. When people think about augmented reality, especially if you haven't had first-hand experience with it, you might think of gimmicky dog ears or other kind of funny lenses. And while that might have been true a few years ago, and it still is the case in certain fun use cases, augmented reality is much more than that. It's a very rich, powerful medium that can augment and enrich the lives of users, consumers, creators, brands, and marketeers. The reason for that is that augmented reality sits or is underpinned by 4 very powerful technologies. 1, the very powerful camera in your pockets. Machine learning, cloud computing, and high-speed mobile broadband. All those things come together to visually enhance our lives and do it smartly. The camera has the ability to see, scan, and understand what it's seeing and overlay it with insightful, relevant information, whether it's an animal, a plant, a car, fashion, face, you name it, the camera will recognize it and will give you insightful information on top of it. That's extremely powerful. Now, when you think of augmented reality, very often people associate it with the other acronym cousin of it, which is VR, virtual reality. In reality, they're actually antithesis of each other. They're exact opposites of each other. Where virtual reality disconnects you from reality, makes you live in another world as an avatar, augmented reality, grounds you in your world, augments it. You're in the moment, you're engaged, you're in your own reality, and you're enriched reality, but you're in the moment. And that engagement is why it's very, very powerful. And not only that, it's also pervasive. In the Middle East, 85%, especially in the Middle East actually, 85% of Snapchatters will use AR daily. 85%. In Saudi Arabia, it's 90%. Our region is one of the most penetrated and high usage AR regions in the world. And not only do they use it, 85% use it daily, on average, they open and interact with lenses 30 times a day. Now stop for a second, 30 times a day. If you wake for 16 hours a day, and you interact on average 30 times a day, that's once every half hour. So in a nutshell, the audience is there. But why are we saying that it's at the forefront of marketing? Well, basically, the most used commodity that we hear about a lot is reach. Everybody's talking about reach. And in reality, most platforms are going to deliver that reach. But did you ever think for a second about what those eyeballs that you're reaching are really doing at that moment? Are they even paying attention? Or are they waiting for your message to pass by so that they can skip and move on? Or worse, are they not even paying attention, doing something else, and then coming back to the content that they've just came in for? Reach isn't the panacea. Reach isn't the answer. The reality is that it's attention. And that's where AR really shines. Because this is pretty much the only media channel that exists that delivers 100% attention. You have a user that is voluntarily interacting with your brand, voluntarily choosing to be there and not doing anything else. Whether it's your brand, your message, your product, they're doing that. Nothing else delivers on it. Not only that, but it's also a full funnel channel. Meaning, whether you're looking to drive awareness, whether you're looking to drive evaluation of your product or your service, or whether you're looking to drive a conversion or sale, everything can happen within the same medium, within the same viewpoint, within the camera. AR can deliver across the board. Which brings us actually to e-commerce. If you think of today's experience in e-commerce, it's a very visual experience. People will look at it, it's quite advanced, but it's still a very visual experience. Look at a product, evaluate it, etc., go through the funnel, purchase, and finish. Now, if you bring AR to the mix, and AR with e-commerce, instead of it being a visual experience, it's an actual experiential experience. People are experiencing your product and service. And we've seen the difference in numbers. When we add AR to any media mix, purchase intent increases by 2.4 times. That's huge, and it makes a lot of sense because people are experiencing rather than just seeing. The use cases are many, whether it's about recreating a virtual store like we did, for example, when Adidas launched its flagship in Dubai Mall, or whether it's about try-ons where people are trying certain products, or even post-purchase, when they're trying to find out about the product they just bought through AR, AR can deliver. Very advanced brands understood that. Progressive brands and advertisers have understood that. And they've actually created camera strategies for this. For example, when Dior launched its B27 luxury sneaker, they partnered with Snap to do so through AR. Basically, the experience was, through AR, you would shoot your foot, you would try the B27, go through the different models, maybe take a picture, share it with your friends, and you could purchase it all through the same environment. And the results were crazy. 6.2 times ROAS and 2.3 million organic views through Dior's business profile on Snap, brand profile on Snap. Now, mind you, this is not just a whimsical purchase. This is a luxury product that was bought through AR. So people did indeed go through that entire funnel and satisfactorily did so. Now, when I started, I told you it was a computing platform, which means that it's something that's always evolving with the technologies that are underpinning it. ScreenShop took the experience to the next level. So they basically used the scan feature of the camera to create a personal shopper in your pocket. With ScreenShop, you basically point it at a friend or somebody. The camera recognizes the clothes or the shoes and then recommends different e-com platforms and products based on what it just saw. The possibilities are truly, truly endless. Now, at Snap, we so believe in the disruptive power of AR and the fact that AR is going to be a mainstay of marketing that we recently launched Arcadia. Arcadia is a platform-agnostic creative studio for AR, meaning we will create top-of-the-line, world-class AR experiences for leading brands and distribute it across platforms, not just on Snap. That's how much we believe in AR. We think that AR is going to be the next phase of disruption. No matter what your vertical is, no matter what sector you work in, AR is going to come and disrupt it, at some point or another. And your audience is already expecting it because, as you've seen, they're already using it. Don't take my word for it, though. We partnered with Deloitte Digital, to truly understand what the various trends and user trends were and what kind of evolution AR was going through, both globally and in the region. So to take you through more of those findings, I'd like to invite Nazar Daniel, who's a creative director at Deloitte Digital, to take you through those findings and show you how AR is truly the next disruptor. Nazar?
Hi everyone, I'm Nazar Daniel and I'm the Creative Director at Deloitte Digital Middle East. My team and I help our clients benefit from cohesive, creative strategies and executions for all channels. I'm here today to tell you about our augmented reality report. We interviewed over 15,000 people worldwide, half of whom were Snapchatters and half of whom were not, and as well as doing over 50 expert interviews with leaders in augmented reality. We wanted to get a deep perspective and forecast on emerging AR trends, the impact on consumer experiences, and the behaviors and how Snapchatters and non-Snapchatters are interacting with brands using augmented reality. We had over 2,000 participants from Saudi Arabia and the UAE as part of this study. So here are some of the key takeaways we should leave with today. Firstly, AR adoption is tracking similar to how previous generations adopted the mobile phone. Almost all of Gen Z and millennial population in Saudi Arabia will be frequent AR users. We found that over 50% of Snapchatters in Saudi and across all generations use AR today to have fun. However, as we're going to talk about later, we'll see how this is now evolving from people having fun to people actually wanting to use it as a practical tool. So the final key takeaway is that interacting with products that have AR experiences increases the conversion rate by over 90%. And this is definitely something to look into for any brand focusing on driving business results. So we've already seen a huge usage of AR today, with over 4.5 billion photos and videos taken by consumers daily on the Snapchat platform globally. And there are over 500 million minutes of AR playtime on average on Snapchat. We're expecting to see a 40% CAGR growth each year between now and 2025. But we're also expecting to see frequent AR users grow from 7.8 million to nearly 20 million by 2025 in Saudi Arabia. And this is stated usage, meaning that people don't always know that they are using AR. So where in the world is AR being used today? You have an answer in this graphic here behind me. And if we look at Saudi Arabia and the UAE, they are amongst the most convinced users, being both in the top 5. And over 80% of their population saying that it will be important in the next 5 years. So let's take a step back and understand the technology shift that pattern the AR is following. Every 10 to 15 years, we see a huge shift in technologies. The first was the shift to PC. This allowed us to suddenly have our own data and our own technology in our homes. We then saw the shift to web. This now allowed us to not only have our own data and information, but we're also able to access other people's data. We then go to mobile. And this now meant that we weren't able to just have our data at home. We could take the data everywhere around the world. At each one of these phases, we have seen that it becomes easier for us to be able to access our data. And with the interface that we connect with our technology, it becomes more simple and more intuitive. And this is really key. Augmented reality is just that next greatest shift. And at each one of these significant shifts, some companies have been created and have reaped the benefits. At the same time, large global firms who did not make the change were not able to embrace the new technology and have failed or did not survive. This is part of the reason why every single major Silicon Valley technology company is investing in augmented reality today. So we're seeing that augmented reality is following mobile technology adoption curve. We are roughly where mobile was back in 2004. And as you can see, the growth happened between 2004 and 2010 for mobile. We believe, and the information that we're seeing is showing, that augmented reality is tracking at this adoption rate. Okay. So one useful way to think about how technology will be adopted is to think about how old technologies go through these 4 stages. First, they are all tech. Then they become a toy, and then a tool, and then they reach totality. So what do I mean by each one of these phases? Tech is really just the technology phase, where consumers and developers try out new technologies. Really, what we're doing at this point is discovering and testing new capabilities. For instance, using a lens to give yourself puppy ears, as we all, I'm sure, have done. As we evolve from this tech stage, it becomes a toy, the feature phase. And this is when you get to play and have fun. And for instance, you may test out how a different hair color looks on yourself. The next stage of the evolution is to become a tool. This is the impactful phase. And we get to engage with useful features like AR directions on how to get home. We start to understand the benefits of utility of AR experiences. And as this understanding grows, so do the practical applications and how they might be used. For instance, during this phase, you might try out how a brand stick lipstick looks, or how you might want to see how a TV may fit on your wall in your own home. And the final phase is totality. This is where we all want to be. And this is when it just becomes business as usual. The new normal, so to speak. This is when AR has the full power as developers make more content available and in our everyday lives. What we start to get here is interaction with frictionless applications and experiences, and it becomes ubiquitous across platforms and brands. So we're seeing the move today from this kind of fun phase into the tool phase, where consumers start seeing AR as a utility, and then they lay the groundwork for ubiquity. Over 3 in 4 people already recognize AR as being useful to them. So what does this mean for brands and retail? This is the so what for you. That's a lot of people using AR to make purchase decisions already today. We believe that there's over 100 million consumers globally who are shopping with AR, online and in stores right now. And from our survey, we also found that 96% of Snapchatters in Saudi Arabia agree that they're going to be using AR more with shopping this time next year. So why are they doing it? As Amr said, AR can catch people's attention. AR delivers twice the level of attention compared to non-AR equivalents. And this helps to lead improved memories, improved experiences, and a more powerful response from consumers when looking for purchasing a brand. What we found is that roughly 1/3 of consumers are more likely to consider a brand if it has an AR experience, and especially in Saudi Arabia. Snapchatters are 20% more likely than non-Snapchatters to feel that AR gives them a reason to share a photo or video today. Here we see that augmented reality also helps to build consumer confidence. We found that roughly 2/3 of Snapchatters agree that AR gives them higher confidence about the product and the quality of that product. And over half of the people use AR technology to allow a risk-free try before you buy experience. Also, nearly 3 out of consumers say that they're willing to pay more for a product and promises total transparency. AR is one of the means for us to be able to do this. So I know what your main question is. What about the results for the brands? If we dive a little bit deeper, for the Saudi Arabia marketplace, we were able to see that Snapchatters were using AR for things like communications, gaming, and media. But also half of them were using it for shopping. Nearly half of the people wanted to be more creative, as well as half of them to make gameplay more interactive, or to be able to just watch content that they enjoyed. 2 of the 5 actually wanted to use it for trying out products, as Amr was showing us. Following on from this, we can see that a typical Snapchatter would have roughly half of them using AR to discover as part of their browsing or shopping. You can see the different retail sectors here, including entertainment, beauty, home decor. 90% of shoppers were likely to use AR when they came across it. And when they came across it, resulting in 2 in 5 using AR to help them make a decision to buy, and that's key. So what does the future actually hold? What things are going to accelerate the adoption of AR? And what are things that are going to be challenges or hurdles ahead of us? Let's start with what is slowing down the adoption of AR. There's still a lack of content. Platforms like Snap are really doing well on this, but many other platforms have yet to totally embrace it. And then the final barrier is just this desire and need for frictionless experience. Everybody wants it easy. Some platforms are helping to make this happen, and so are others, but the experience is still challenging for some. So let's talk about the accelerators to adoption. Consumers are becoming creators. What we're finding out is, particularly on the Snap platform, it's easy to create AR experiences. So people are having fun with them. They're turning these toys into tools. And they're actually using utility. They're finding utility amongst them, enabling them to share with their friends, their colleagues, their peers. It's becoming a big driver for adoption. We also found that with COVID-19, it really did increase the adoption of usage of AR. During our interviews in particular, we found that high-end brands really started to see significant growth in using AR. And finally, keeping things fun, people are still enjoying AR. It is always so satisfying whenever you see someone using augmented reality for the very first time, because they really truly do experience joy. And with that, I'd like to say thank you and look forward to interacting with you again in the future. Thank you.